Okay, so it is 10 o'clock at night, and I decided to film like this so that way I can get another video done today because I'm a little bit behind schedule and we were really busy today. So, let's get into it. 38 weeks pregnant, what it was like. Bye-bye. So, as previously mentioned, at this point in time, I was super, super lucky because there wasn't a lot of involvement from the narcissist and things like that. Like, this really was my breathing period, my time to just like be alone most of the time. And like things seemed to be really good for me. Like, prime example, my 38-week video, like, I had a sponsor for it, and that was like this huge thing for me, especially because like I had like under 100 followers and stuff, and it was a really small company, and they were just like, yeah, we want to work with you and partner with you. And I was like, oh my goodness, life is turning around, things are getting better, like, look at that. And it was just really, really nice. um, Especially since the narcissist really tore down this channel as much as he possibly could. It was always like, oh, this is the stupidest thing that you do. You need to stop putting so much energy and time into it. Like, you're never going to get rich and famous off of it. And it was like, I don't want to be rich and famous off of this. I just enjoy making videos. But he was always very adamant about, like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. So I was like, somebody wanted to sponsor me. And it was really nice, and I felt really special because, like, I was like, haha, take that. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, it was just so peaceful to just be this far along and know that I was finally able to breathe. um, Goodness me. I mean, it's so crazy to compare the pregnancies, because the first pregnancy, like, he yelled at me all the time, he was very aggressive all the time, everything was an issue all the time. And second pregnancy, it was very distant, like some aggression here and there, a lot of involuntary adult time, like things like that, which, still horrible, still not great, still something that definitely should not have been happening, still something that is clearly a fucking issue. But, like, you know what, at least I wasn't fucking being berated this whole pregnancy. Like, good grief. At least I wasn't being told how terrible of a human being I was the whole pregnancy. At least I wasn't being told how ugly I was getting the entire pregnancy. Like, the first pregnancy was just a lot more emotional turmoil for me than this one was, which I am thankful for that part of it. I am not thankful for the fact that I was dealing with other ridiculous crap. And I think a huge part of that was honestly because my first pregnancy, I would get so angry. Like, I would get mad back. And, like, there were points in time where he straight up was like, I don't want to deal with you. Like, it's a lot. Like, you're kind of really mean. And I was like, really? You don't say. I'm mean? What's mean? You poor soul. Like, bud, have you met yourself? You are constantly mean all the time. Like, ugh. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. And, like, I wasn't, like, berating him or anything. I was just angry all the time over everything. And I was like that with both pregnancies. And I think it's the freaking testosterone. Because I don't know what else would make me that angry all the time. Because I'm genuinely not that angry of a person. I am very mild-mannered and chill, and I'm just like, I don't like being angry, I don't like feeling angry, I don't like holding grudges, I don't like, I just want to move on and be happy. So I was like, ugh. I felt so out of place both pregnancies because I was just constantly angry. And not even just at him. Like, I would direct a lot of my anger at him because he would treat me like shit all the time. So I was like, you deserve the rage. But, like, ugh. I just felt so uncomfortable because I was so angry all the time. I was also so done being pregnant. Like, that's just kind of standard with pregnancy, right? You hit a point where you're just so done. So there is a possibility that I just wasn't noticing all the issues because I was just done with everything in general anyway. Like, who knows? I mean, it's an issue being ignored by your partner. It's an issue not being supported by your partner. It's an issue being the only one to interact with your toddler. Like, and your partner does absolutely nothing. Your uncle does more to interact with your toddler than your partner does. Like, there's so many little issues that were still so present and existed this entire time, but it wasn't to the same extent as the first pregnancy, and it didn't bother me at this point. Like, his absence didn't bother me at all. I preferred it. Like, I went and hung out with my mom all the time. I went and saw my grandpa all the time, and he stayed at home, got drunk, and worked on his car, and smoked a lot of weed, and would try to, like, act tough around my uncle. I don't know. He was weird. But I preferred that was our routine because it was more peaceful for me. It was more relaxing for me. I don't even freaking know how to describe it. And that's probably a really terrible way to feel about your partner. That's probably a really awful way to think about your life. And, like, realistically, I know the next time I get pregnant, like, I want to have a person around all the time that is, like, in it with me and is like, let's do stuff with the kids together, and, like, I want an involved partner, right? And, like, I'm scared of it, though, because I don't know how I'm gonna respond to it, because that's not something I ever experienced. But yeah, I was just, like, prepared to give birth. I was so ready. I was hoping that it was gonna happen while I was with my mom, and that, like, I could just be at the hospital alone. Like, I didn't want him in the room with me at all. But I knew that I couldn't say anything about it, and that if I asked him to not be in the room with me, that it was going to cause a big old issue and fight. So I was just hoping that I was going to be with my mom, and he was going to be too drunk to answer his phone. And so I was just going to have to be all alone because my mom was going to have to hang out with Elias because he wasn't going to be allowed in the room with me because it was November of 2020. Like, yeah. It was just the thought process that, like, I would dream about. It was, like, the biggest fantasy of my life. It didn't work out that way, but we'll get into that when the birth video comes, which is very soon, actually. But yeah, I'm not going to ramble on for too long. Those were just my thoughts. See y'all next week. Like, I'm not gonna make everybody deal with all of the boring bits of me rambling because I'm tired. So, good night. I'm gonna go to bed. Peace.